Hello, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib open mic. The link's still on the right-hand side in case you'd like to join the show. We're going to talk about Bounty 19, VXP weekend. And there's something we're going to cover pretty early related to one of the comments I made on the Wednesday show regarding the fact that both the Saturn and the Nemesis don't have anything that distinguishes them, their weapon slots, unless you mouse over them. So it's easy for players to accidentally put missiles in the countermeasure spots. And Mike has been so kind, I think, to do that 8 times.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah, so we're going to work through and show you how to fix that in a couple minutes once we get the introductions done. If we get everything done correctly, this should take all of a minute. So, it should take 1 second of repair time. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right on your YouTube screen. Whoops, why did my screen go black? Okay.
Could be me.
Magic Mike.
Hello, everybody. Happy VXP.
Okay. And High Lord. Hi, Lord. Okay.
Something.
Hello.
There you are.
Okay. And Jordy.
Good evening.
And Aussie.
Good morning.
And this is Hefe. Just so logistically, so it makes sense, why don't we cover that first issue that we were talking about? Mike, you want to bring up your...
Yeah, I'm trying. I might have a... I think...
There we go.
Is that... You can see it?
I can see it, yeah. So
okay,
go full screen.
I can't see it on the YouTube.
Oops. YouTube lags a little bit behind.
Okay.
So we're good. But go to full screen.
I will try as soon as this spinning wheel stops spinning.
Okay.
Okay. There.
All right. Take that Nemesis X and place it in your refit it. Alrighty. So you see what we've done here. Like we talked about before, the top 2 slots are standard / countermeasures, and the rest of them are purely standard. So there's no, you can't tell at this point, but there's no indication unless you mouse over them that that's the case. So let's try and fix what's going on here. Mike, below the slot 1 below, install the same missile, just one below. Take the one on the right. Let's just go through it. Okay, click on that one and put that same missile there. Okay, now go up above that and clear that slot. Okay, now so you don't have a build, go back and put in that top slot. Okay, go over to research tab.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And put the lowest whoops.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And put the lowest cutlass on there. No, research tab. There we go.
I got it set for
the lowest rapier. Just that one.
Damn,
right
Mike.
Well, I got it set for that.
Okay, now push refit ship. Okay.
Oh,
now take that same ship, refit it again. Okay, now delete the rapier. Okay, refit ship.
Refit ship. Put weapon here, right?
Well, we can just show them once, how to do it. So refit ship. Okay. You in docs. So go to refit. Okay. Now what we've effectively done is scroll over it. is we've freed open his standard countermeasure slot. So now he can put the Missile Defense System 3 in there. If you want, you can go ahead and repeat it on the other side.
Let's do this one more time and just make sure I did it right. So
You did it right.
You're going to put that there.
Yep.
Then clear that.
Mm-hmm.
Then put the research rapier in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then do that.
Yep.
It worked. Okay, I remember. Okay.
No, you need to go back to your ship, your dock.
Yeah, no, I see what I did.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a hell of a day. Okay, great. The undocks.
Okay, so now at this point, you're free to do whatever you want with those countermeasure slots, and it didn't cost you
Nothing.
any coins or time besides just the actual. Yeah, Mike wasn't too happy earlier today.
I'll tell everybody, I did every single ship that way, and they're all and I did them all very quickly to get them on the water using the tokens I had, and found out at the end. And fortunately, I mentioned it to Hefe, and he was right on top of it. So it saved me about 8 days or something. Probably about 8 days worth of refits if I had not known how to do that.
Nah, it's not really 8 days, but yeah,
well,
it would
whatever.
Be. Yeah,
2 on each at 1 day. So yeah, right. That's true.
Well, a day and a day plus, and then the taking.
All right, 4 days. Yeah. Whatever. A lot of time.
Yeah, more time than you had available.
More time, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to take you off present, and we'll be back for the slides in a bit.
Okay.
Associated with the VXP target.
I'll stop sharing as well, and then that.
Well, you don't have to stop sharing. You can just go to the slides whenever you get a chance.
I'm there.
Okay. If you want to put that one in present, we can talk about the what's going on as far as VXP weekend. Get that out of the way, and then we'll move on to Bounty.
Let's see if that
how's everybody doing in VXP weekend? I've found it to be much easier than I thought it would be if you have the right couple of ships.
I got frustrated, coined it, cost me about 25 coins.
Okay. If we take a look at this target that we see here.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn, Mike.
It's been a day. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Oh, okay. Now I'm looking at the other screen. Okay, in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see where you spawn. You can spawn inside these fog clouds, which to a certain degree will hide your ships from the other ships if they come in. But if they're within your... the exception for this is if a ship happens to follow you in there and you're within their range, they will continue to fire at you as long as they're within your range. They're not really tracking you, but if you're within their weapons range, they're going to continue to fire at you. But how I found the VXP weekend to be extremely, like the easiest I've seen in eons, is if you take your Saturns or your Nemesis X with one weapon each, and then you pair that with either a missile breacher, a corrosive, a missile basilisk, or a corrosive breacher would be the top two choices. Some other choices would be the corrosive witch doctor or a missile storm cruiser, something that has the weapon type associated that they have a weakness to a certain degree. And you slowly move from that spawn point down to the right to the second cloud. And as you move through the open water, this ghost crawler up at the top will follow you. It will come out of its little hiding spot in the corner, and it will come down and they're pretty fast, and they'll come closer and closer to you until you reach the second fog embankment on your right. Then it will turn around and head back to its little home over there, as long as you're hidden. And so what you do at that point is you move to that point on the one that's basically right at the bottom. You move to that point at the right, and you make sure he's back in his corner. And you put, what I used was the missile basilisk. And and I lead that up. I lead the rest of my ships by the full length of the ship, so it's, you know, plus a quarter. So it's like my missile basilisk was, you know, not touching my my Nemesis X's at all, but then like a little extra quarter. And my missile basilisk, or my Nemesis, had one missile, no specials or armor whatsoever, so it didn't even have extended range. And what you do is you would want to aim at that bottom right one. And it'll move up. And basically what happens is it will start to fire at your basilisk and do basically instant repair damage to it. But what you want to make sure is that your Saturns or your Nemesis X get in there and get at least one salvo off before it kills, before your Conqueror ship, whatever you choose out of the choices, kills it. And then you turn yourself around and go back into the cloud field. And what will happen is you will have triggered the second ship. And in the case with my missile basilisk, it killed that second ship. And then I go back into this cloud. We now have a retreat button that we didn't have before. So you can just retreat and move on. If you did this correctly, you would have gotten full VXP on your full offensive VXP on your Saturns or Nemesis. And if done correctly, you would not have taken any damage on those ships whatsoever. And so you don't really need to do it that many times. I sculled my whole fleet without within one crew. So I don't know. Does anybody else have anything on questions or anything on VXP weekend?
No, I like that. I just kind of finished my 4th NIM, so I hit once and just you know, did the normal thing. But now I'm gonna do this for the rest, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and this might be a good process to also use if you don't have, you know, basically using the basilisk or the breacher as a meat shield that also kills it. Because basically, if you just get some damage, offensive damage in, you're getting a pretty good amount of VXP. Like the first time I went through it, and I did take some damage before I figured it out, and I was getting over 100,000 VXP just with like one encounter. But this was with me taking damage at that point before I figured the whole process out. So it's a VXP rich target. So anybody have anything else
From
on
that
VXP?
perspective, I think they treated us halfway decent, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, you know, like you don't have to go in 20 times to get your VXP.
Yeah. And if you notice on the target, as far as speaking to like how I think the assault target works, I have, like I said, I only have one ship with one missile each. Basically, there are 3, if you can see them, there's 3 buildings with these purple icons above them. You need to kill all 3 of them to reduce the penetrator deflection of this ghost crawler that just appears to chase you around whenever you're not in the clouds. But when you kill these, the assumption is you see these shrouded ships, like these 2 at the bottom, these 2 near the middle one, and these 2 at the top. Once you kill those, they become unshrouded and attack you. So the easy way, I think, to do this target is to go counterclockwise and basically make him chase you while you're killing his defensive buffs. You know, these ships, these buildings with the, you need to kill all of them to have the effect according to the strategy guide put out by Wrong Thinker. So, anybody else have much?
Be interesting to see how somebody's doing it with the Saturn. Oh, you're doing it with the Saturn, aren't you?
I'm doing it with a a Nemex with one missile and not even a range extension special or any specials whatsoever. So I'm actually at the 78 range or whatnot. So I actually have less range than a Saturn.
Yeah. The Saturn wouldn't have to worry about those buildings, though, would they?
I'm just killing those. I'm just killing those two, and I'm moving on. I don't even mess with the buildings as far as VXP weekend, because buildings don't give you VXP. Only the ships do. So I just kill those two ships, go retreat, find another target, just keep on hitting targets and hit those. And like I said, you could probably return to base and get auto repair on your Basilisk. And like I said, I assume that the next best choice, or maybe even the better choice, would be the corrosive a corrosive build on the breacher. I'm not sure. So, but I think you could do this with either ship.
I could try it when I actually start VXP. Thank you.
Yeah, the tricky part is the timing and the spacing between your Conqueror tank. So it's tank and the killer. It's both, but it's getting that spacing correct. So your Conqueror is not killing those ships before your new assault class ships have a chance to inflict some damage.
Got you.
And all you need to do is inflict some damage, and you're good. So, unless anybody has anything on VXP weekend, I was gonna let. Go ahead.
I got one thing. How many targets did you hit to get up over 70 doing that style?
It wasn't that many, because I took a couple of minutes, like 20 minutes, to figure it out, and then before my crew ran out, I had skulled them all.
So probably less than 10.
Yeah, less than 10.
Nice.
And as a side effect, my Basilisk had no rank on it, and it was 73 when I left. So that's why I'm thinking, I have some breachers that haven't been ranked completely yet. So I'm thinking about using the same technique with my ballistic breachers, and I'll probably even be less damage. So this is a good one for ranking Conquerors, it appears. That might have been the reason that for the first 2 hours or so of the event, the VXP event, you weren't allowed to use Conquerors. But, people made the argument, well, you need to have a mega now to rank your Conquerors. So I don't know if this is something that they saw beforehand and decided to get, to eliminate, and then realize what some of the side effects were, or it was just part of this whole separation of PvP and PvE that wasn't announced on the briefing. Because if you notice now, you can't peak bases with gunships or whatnot. So okay. Well,
not sure if you want that on the screen, but it's not showing up on YouTube. I don't know if it's off present or not.
I'm not sure what's going on. Because I noticed when I speak, the screen is black, which I'm not sure what's causing that.
Am I not sharing this thing or something?
No. I don't think it's on you, because when I put you on present, it works. But when I speak, the screen just turns black. I'm not sure.
When I speak, it shows. I don't get it. Okay.
Yeah, I have you on present.
Slide. Okay.
Well, let's do the one more slide, and then we'll just take you off present, and we can talk about bounty. Monday, we're going to get update notes. And then we're going to get the pillage briefing on Tuesday. I was really hoping for Brexit Palooza, but they've gone with pillage, which is sort of boring. Where you're able to get the Nemesis X and Saturn flagships, and what I assume is the next generation of the folded ferrite will be available in this, and who knows what else will be available. So, and then Thursday we're going to get a CM diary. So just so you know, don't put your armors on these ships until you see what's coming out on the 26th. So 4 days from now. So I'll take you off present.
Okay.
And so I don't know. Should we talk about bounty?
Can do.
Okay. How's it going? How's the performance? I joined bounty a little bit before the show because I wanted to get the FM and VXP weekend done first. Is the performance increase? Is performance better than it was last bounty?
It's certainly better for me before America gets busy. As soon as dinner time comes around here, and America wakes up, and people start trying to do the odd bits and bobs before they go to work, it goes laggy as hell. And then again, when Americans start getting home from work, etc., it goes to absolute rats.
Okay, so you're saying this is Mike's fault?
Definitely Mike's fault.
Okay.
I think he spilled one of his bottle of whiskeys all over the server.
I noticed that there seems to be almost next to no targets from like 100 to 115, unless you're lucky to find one. I don't know what's going on with that.
Is the info
on the player copies?
okay? The replica bases.
Yep.
That was another question I had. Do the ranges meet the payouts, or do you have to keep on clicking info? Because I like I said, I just signed up before the show, but I haven't tried to hit any targets, or I was working on VXP and FM.
Well, there's a bunch of targets under 100, and there's a bunch of targets over 125 to 130. But like the normal ones, they're not there. I don't know if maybe because people haven't signed in yet or what, but it's pretty disappointing.
Well, I was sort of asking another question. What happened last raid was you could have like, let's say a 95 that would be worth 60 or it'd be all the way up to 360.
No, I get what you're saying. It's just there's no targets to check. That's what I mean.
I've certainly found a 79 that was worth 230, 360.
Okay.
Yep.
So that means it's still potentially off.
I think hitting seems to be down. There's not as many bases getting hit. More peaks going on than hits.
Well, probably they see all the people that have 5 of the have 5 of the launchers, and they're like, we're not having any part of this.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't like to be a little guy trying to play. That's for sure. They're getting gobbled up real quick.
Okay.
It's going back to the lag. It's still laggy that even when you're trying to use the locator, you're freezing trying to select through the locator, Or when you try and click on targets, it's not even going exactly on where you're clicking. It's like you're clicking a good few millimeters away from it. So you'll get C info like relay move here and stuff like that when you're clicking on a base.
Okay. Well, I'm going to, because every time I speak, I'm going to refresh my part of Hangouts. You guys keep on going on, because every time I talk, the screen just turns black like it's not working. So I'm going to refresh, and I'll be back in a minute, but you guys carry on. I just won't be here for, a minute or two.
Okay. Ozzy, do you notice any spikes at different times with you being on a different time zone?
Yeah, it happened to me yesterday, and people were putting in comms, they're getting bad lag, and I'm getting nothing at all. Mine was really good, but then a little bit later on, yeah, it was when they were getting up, because it was around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock my time, night time, which is 7, 8 in the morning over there in America. It started getting laggy.
Yeah.
And my FPS was around 30, and it dropped down to 3 to 7.
Wow.
It was, yeah. And yeah, I had to keep refreshing because my ships weren't lacky. They weren't rubber banding a lot, but they were just a little bit, if you know what I mean. You know, before they'd jump like an inch or two. Now they were only jumping, quarter of an inch, but it was enough to be annoying.
Yeah, I think it felt a little bit more painful at times because the lag had been so absent during the raid.
Yeah.
Previously, I was hoping for a much improved situation.
Yeah. Yeah, but it definitely, as soon as I joined Bounty, my FPS went down, and it was different. Certainly different as soon as I joined Bounty. Because I didn't join it straight away. I joined it on the second drop that we get.
I suppose when you get large population blocks like America, which has the majority of the players, when a lot of them start logging on, the system's then trying to update all their bases to the map, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not too bad at the moment. I'm not doing Bounty at the moment. I'm doing FM.
Yeah, likewise. But it'll probably get worse when if people start changing over to that new turret, because all that info will have to be updated as well, won't it?
Yeah, I've put one in at the moment just to see. The arc's a little bit small, so it's a bit tricky.
I think I'm going to skip that one.
I'm going to try it out. I mean, it's instant.
Yeah.
With base parts, so.
No loss with base parts, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the narrow arc and the larger inside circle where you're in the safe zone. It really doesn't play that well into an overall defensive weapon.
The inside safe zone isn't that big.
120, is it?
Hang on. What are we talking about?
The new ballistic. Is the store even open yet?
Yeah, it opened at 6 my time in the night, so 6 in the morning. 6 night time over there, so an hour and a half ago it opened. So what, the downburst heavy cannon? That's the one you're talking about, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the inside arc isn't that big. The dead zone, I thought.
What is it? I'm not looking at it. I'm in a target.
I'm in a target.
Range is 120 to 400, if that's what you're talking.
Yeah, there you go. So it is. It's 120.
Okay. Yeah, but where I've got it positioned, it still covers just about everything. I've put it back on the back of the island, so
yeah,
it's not too bad. Yeah. I mean, they've got to get past the other 4 heavy turrets as well, and breaches and everything else before they even get out of into the safe zone on mine anyway. So I doubt if they're going to get back there anyway.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It seems it's more designed to interfere with people while they're trying to prep you up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that the narrow arc is the problem.
The narrow arc on what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
The arc on the new downburst heavy cannon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very. No, it's only 30% or something. It's not very big.
Yeah.
So the positioning has to be right to because the segmentations of when you rotate it, it's quite big, if you know what I mean.
You don't have fine adjustments on it.
Yeah, if you had fine adjustments, 1 minute it'll be on a land tile, on the edge of a land tile, say, and then you do it to the next segment, and it's 2 land tiles away.
Okay.
So you've got another dead spot, all of a sudden. So you've got to think, well, do I want to cover this little bit, or do I want to cover that little bit?
Yeah, or do I just have to move where this turret is completely in order to cover where I want? Because of the coarseness of the controls.
I tried that too, but it didn't really work because of where I got to put it. Because of the narrow arc, you've got to have it. If you want the maximum arc to cover the front entry of your base, you've got to have it back further.
Yeah, and then always the recommendation is I plan to put mine somewhere where it's going to cross I'm going to force them to cross over that spot, you know,
more than one.
2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that's intentional as far as the coarseness of our control over them, because it seems to be pretty powerful with that range.
Mm.
You know, you never know what they do intentionally. This goes for a lot of things. You never really know what they do intentionally and what's just an accident.
Yeah.
So, what does everybody think as far as, we know we're going to get flagships for the next raid. Has anybody done the math? I don't see us being able to get more than 3 done. And at least with the NemX, it doesn't matter if how many you have, parked in the corner. That's not going to help you to have them parked in the corner. Is everybody else planning on getting, at least that has the Nemesis X, planning to get 3 done?
I'm
I'm
hoping to
hoping
have
to.
3. Yeah, I'm up 3. I think you're right on the number on that, which is ridiculous. Only 3, unless they throw some tokens in this event or something, or do something.
Well, they usually, if you have a campaign for the flag, they usually give you tokens as well, don't they? Usually.
Yeah, but then the flag's usually several days longer to build, and almost double as long in many cases to build as the naked hull as the fleet ship.
Yeah, but what they usually do is they give you a whole bunch of crap in the beginning, which you don't need half the time, usually because you've already finished everything. But they might be giving out, normal ones in the first couple, and then your flag in the mastery, like they do with a lot of campaigns.
Yeah, maybe.
But until we get it, we don't know. We're not going to know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how much are we going to need to earn in the first one. If you're able to do the pillage event, how much do you need? Because what's probably going to be in there is, the Saturn, the Nemesis, the flags, and then probably a new Conqueror Defender ship, but usually a Conqueror ship in that slot. So I'm just curious how much we actually need to earn in that first go round. That first raid. I'm just guessing what the prizes are going to be, but it's normally what, it feels right as far as, that's what probably the prizes are going to be. There's not going to be, what else are they going to put there in that prize slot? So it may not be necessary to get that many points in the first cycle of the raid.
Unless they put escalation in there.
Well, they're probably going to have the escalate. Yeah, you're right. They're going to have escalation, but that's going to be in the form of shard drops associated with the S level targets.
Haven't they put escalation in the FM before now? Weapons, etc.
Well, yeah. I was sort of constraining it to like, what are we going to potentially earn in the raid that we might need to have, really good fleet put together at that point in time, because all this stuff that we've gotten so far, or we're going to get next week with both the flagship and then the assault hulls has all been quote unquote early preview.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to think historically. And the other tricky part is that we're not going to be getting the. I'm assuming that we're going to be getting the correct armor for these next week as well.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I know. I'm behind. My second hull isn't quite out yet. That's all because I went to try and get a Shrike fleet built for the last raid in that cycle and didn't achieve that. So I've ended up not achieving 2 things.
Oh, so you only have 2 ships out as far as the.
I've got 1 day left on one of the ships.
Okay.
I haven't got this week's FM tokens though, so I can get out finish this one and get another out, so I'd have 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I get lesson learned a little bit from trying to achieve all the content. You just can't do it if you ain't going to climb.
Yeah, right now I'm finishing up my strikes during. I thought VXP weekend was going to be more arduous.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually put Shrike to finish up as far as finishing up the armor on it, and it's still in there. It's going to be out at 4.5 hours from now, and then I'll slap my my Nemesis back in there. But I was expecting it to be, me going well into the second day and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize how easy it was going to be as far as the VXP weekend.
Which is a bonus when you consider the content that we've got this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised how easy it was, at least for, at least the way I was able to do it. And if you had the right Conqueror builds. And if anybody's in chat has tried to do these with some of the lower level hulls, like the Witch Doctor and the Missile Stormcruiser, I'm also interested to see how those do is tanking for your Nemesis or your Saturn, because that might actually also work quite well. I would assume it wouldn't be awful. Much better than just throwing ships at these targets.
They were good. I mean, I had 2 witches that I never finished, and I was like, oh, I'll just throw some rank on them before I scrap them if I ever build them. And I put 2 Hallies, 2 witches, and like a Revenant with nothing. And they came out of there with like 100,000 VXP. They were like destroying that target, and there's like almost no guns. The witches might have had some stuff on it, but I was like, wow. So if I if I knew about this tanking idea earlier, I could have tried that, but I will later for the rest of the stuff. They did really good. So I can only imagine fully built witches. They'd probably destroy that thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking more as far as the tank, using them as a tank. If you don't have some of the newer, like the Basilisk or the a missile Basilisk to be more specific, and
yeah, I get you. I'm saying I believe they will do very well.
Yeah. I was just seeing if anybody in YouTube chat had actually had experience and how that might have worked for them. So, okay. I don't know. We got much else?
Doesn't seem so, mate.
I know. So,
yeah. Anybody try to do those TLCs? How's the damage?
Personally, I've been working on the FM and VXP weekend, and then just started Bounty. So,
no, yeah, I'm right with you. I'll try to do Sunday, but I was just wondering if anybody did try.
I actually forgot about them. Don't know why.
Yeah, well, it's it's like I talked about on Wednesday. It's like the U1 for the Breacher is like adding concussive as a third damage type. I'm not really sure that's the end game here. I think it's is there going to be a U2 coming out for this in a month or two? And that's you want to have the U1 done in order to get access to the U2.
Yeah, because you can only hold so many tokens. So if you don't use them now, you might not be able to use them later on.
Well, no. What I'm saying is you're forced to get U1 first. Like, go ahead and spend the time, get the kits and the tokens, and do the U1 that way, because that way U2 doesn't take a month for you to do. And
no, what I'm saying is if you don't do it now, when the next campaign comes out and they go, oh, here we go, you can get U2, you haven't done U1.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So your tokens are already full.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you got both docks already running. You've already got something in there. You know what I mean? So then you're trying to get your conqueror hull, what do you call it? Conquest yard finish so you can get these things done, so you can get the next lot of tokens.
No, it makes complete sense. I just wish, we haven't gone through this experience as far as what our expectations are associated with these upgrades. I can't imagine that the PvP stuff is going to go past U3. But I could see the Conqueror stuff making it up to U3, and we just don't know about it yet. And so it might be a good reason to do some of this stuff, just so you can get the stuff that's actually advantageous. Because if you took a look at like the retrofit lab, which is probably, the only real comparison that we have besides the Foundry, which was basically a ripoff of the retrofit lab, that we might, some of these other steps might be much more useful, and they just don't know what they're going to do with them yet, and see how well players participate in these. Because everybody's like, I mean, personally, I'm like, okay, why do I want a concussive breacher?
But like you're saying, the next U2 might be something completely different.
Yeah, but I agree. It's just me speculating, though.
Yeah. So if you haven't done U1, it's going to take you longer to do it.
We've got to look at how quick they release any further upgrades, because that then impacts on it. If they release the next ballistic hull, for example, will people not just be wanting that instead of the breacher anyway? And will they have released a new hull between then that is more akin to sub hunting?
Yeah, about a week ago, Saltwater, who's in charge of a lot of he's the game designer that does a lot of the PvP stuff. He went into pretty good length on the on several things related to Tier 8 PvP, and he said we've got, as far as base design, we've got basically what we're going to get as far as the Conqueror stuff, besides a couple little things that are going to twist things in different ways. We've got our sniper and the Basilisk. We've got our everyday ship in the breacher, and then we got our blitzer type thing with the howler, and everything else is going to be sort of minor changes. They may be big, but as far as, like he said, if your base can stop all three of these, you're set. There's not going to be a lot more coming out in Tier 8. But that might have changed, because I've seen a lot of people aren't happy with the Howler's performance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just seen people complain here and there about it. I'm not sure if they're built correctly or they have all three of them together, because it seems like all three of them together would be quite dangerous, as opposed to just people hitting with one, because one could be targeted all the time, as opposed to three, because a lot of people are using accuracy-based weapons. That the second and third one.
Well, I mean, when's Tier 9 due out? I hate to ask, but that'll be what, September-ish?
I don't know. They could appear to be able to change the change the calendar on things at times so for us. So I'm not completely certain.
When are we getting our mountains?
That's another good question. When are we going to get the mountains? They seem to be buggy in PvP. I'm sorry, PvE. So maybe they're still trying to work out some of those bugs, because people are seeing. People see issues with the rockets, and I've seen some issues where I'm not even sure what they're considered, because you've noticed that you will, with your eradicators, you'll stun the mountains. I'm not even sure what that does. Does anybody else notice that, you know, if you're firing, that sometimes the mountains become stunned?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm mad stunned because I got like 20 annihilators on. Yeah, I'm stun those things all the time. I don't know what, like you said, I don't know what it does.
Yeah.
I've even got a what do you call it? Off the Shrikes, the radioactive build-up explosion. I've even got that on the mountains.
The shockwave.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so they're not yeah, I guess they're considered like turrets in how they're coded.
Right.
So I don't know. And I also noticed in some of the targets, I was able to sort of shoot around them with my eradicators. I wasn't sure how that was working. Where the those nasty little Howie looking things, the yellow ones, the short range, I would be behind the mountains, and sometimes I was able to do damage to them in addition to stunning them behind the mountains. So
Well, Hefe, I can clear that up. I remember when they first came out, I was reading a little bit of what was given to us, and they are not complete mountains. They are actually scraps of metal made into mountains, so there are pockets and holes in them.
okay. So yes, we do hear how the story works. I'm just wondering how the you know.
Mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, though it makes sense based on you know, the storyboard behind them. So I don't know. Is anybody else from YouTube like to join? And do we have anything else that you know, we've been going on for a decent amount of time. I'm just wondering if we have much else to discuss at this point. So trying to think of anything that's because we've covered a lot of topics. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, maybe we covered them too quickly.
I'd be interested to know if anybody else last bounty tried to join late on and couldn't do it. It was disallowed.
Oh yeah, you did ask me that question. Yeah. So basically, that there is a endpoint for entering bounty. The last time I entered late was probably like 2 or 3 bounties ago, where I entered 2 hours before it was over, and I didn't have an issue. But you said that some people in your alliance tried to join the last bounty, and were unable to join.
Yeah, and said they got a message saying the joining period for bounty was over.
Well, was Bounty, I can't remember, but was Bounty pushed back a day, and maybe that's why? I don't remember.
That might be the case, actually. Good point.
Yeah.
It does seem to be. It does seem to be an issue with automatic timings. You know, like the FM starting pop-ups coming out on its original time this week rather than when it was due to start.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that a lot. I had a bunch of pop-ups telling me my gantry's done. I'm like, what the hell is this? My ship's like over 500.
Yeah, I got that one too. My gantry's finished and I can start building a mega. And I'm thinking, where's my mega gone then?
You've gotten some sort of strange backwards time machine.
Yeah. There, so I had to go out and make sure my mega was still there.
Well, well you know, it could have been a lot of things that players were wishing for.
Yeah.
You know, oh, my mega's gone. Thank God.
Yeah. I thought that for years. Why the hell did I build this thing?
Well, if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be able to get the VXP tokens. But yeah,
that's true.
That.
Yeah.
I haven't looked, but are the top alliances still having their mega wars during bounty? That's going to be even more expensive now with the damage that they're doing, isn't it?
I have not looked. I'm not sure, because that was really that's an expensive hobby.
Oh yeah. But now you've got weapons combinations that trash tier 8 Conqueror fleets just off the Mega itself. Never mind buying accompanying fleet. That bill's just going to get bigger, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like mine, I'm just slow building because everything's like 6 days now. But I heard there's a couple out there that might be like around like 1200 or something level, and that's bonkers.
Yeah, someone posted one yesterday. It was 1100 or 1200.
It's just it's one thing too far for me now.
You like I say, the build time on them now, everything's 6 days. It's like, oh, good God.
It's not that I can't be bothered. I'm just old, and now I can't remember everything I've got to do. There's that much activity. I forget the stuff's there to be done.
I heard that. What was that now? Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and proceed to the after show, unless anybody has any parting words prior to that. Okay. Well,
Got your answer.
so let's go to the after show, and we'll see you all on Wednesday when we should have information on what I was hoping was Brexit Palooza, but it turns out just to be a pillage event. I was curious to see how that was going to work in action.
So they're
I'm not
calling it
sure
pillage again. We had pillage a couple of months ago, didn't we?
January, I think, was the last one.
Yeah, January. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was hoping for another, holiday themed event, but because they called it a special event, so everybody thought St. Patrick's Day.
You could have
I
called
was
it
thinking,
Chase the Leprechaun.
yeah. Everybody was thinking it was going to be St. Patrick's Day, but like 10 days from St. Patrick's Day, that's a little pushing it. But
Get a ship with a little green hat on top or something.
yeah, some
Sorry.
leprechaun on a ship peeing on you, splash damage. All sorts of possibilities are there.
Or 4-leaf clovers instead of snowbursts, like that snow one. Like
Yeah.
4-leaf clovers come out, but that was just super laggy.
Oh, come on. What about the Valentine's one? Pink ship with the heart. So have a green ship with heart what's the thing?
Shamrock?
4-leaf clovers.
That would be the perfect spot for a leprechaun pissing somebody right on the hood.
So, alrighty. Well, I guess we can proceed to the after show at this point, and thank you all for joining, and see us all again on Wednesday. And hope your VXP and bounty go well for everybody. Later, people.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.